What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back for another video. Today's an exciting one. I'm actually super excited because I finally get a radio in my my BMW. So if you guys may have seen in the first reveal video of the BMW, at the end I went over kind of the inside of the car and stuff, and you could have seen I don't have a sound system in there. So today we're going to be installing one. Not just a sound system actually, but in the video I also showed you guys how the car was actually pre-wired. So one of the things, the deals I made when I bought the car was, hey look, you can take the double din out because it had this big protruding plastic piece, and I just didn't like the way it looked, and there is some stuff out there right now in the market that's really cheap and you can get and actually looks really clean. So I said, look, you can take all your stuff out, just leave everything pre-wired, please. So I have a rear view camera pre-wired in there. The sub and the amp wiring cables are all exposed, ready to just plug and play. So I'm hoping to get this all done in one day. I don't think I would have been able to had it not been pre-wired, so I'm super thankful for that. But I'm really excited because finally gonna have a freaking sound system. And not even a sound system, I have a sub and everything. So on that note, man, subs and amps and watts and RMS and impedance, ohms, what the hell? I bought the box and the sub online thinking on Amazon, just like, hey, here's a 10-inch box with a 10-inch hole cut into it, and here's a 10-inch sub, and it just, you know, boom, 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 plug it in. No. So we'll see. Just a disclaimer, I'm not an audio guy. I spent like the last 4 days just researching the hell out of things, trying to learn about the gauges. Like if you have too small of a gauge and you're putting too much power through it, like you can freaking burn your whole car. Like, I don't know, like, so fingers crossed I don't burn my whole car down, you know, that'd be terrible. But we'll see. I'm hoping it works. I think we'll be okay, and I'll show you guys what I got. So I'm rambling, let's get to the video. I'm super excited. Let's get a sub and an amp and a nice display in my car. So, as you can see, we have all of our items here. First thing is the new Extron's entertainment system, 9-inch Android auto display or Android software display. Fantastic value for the money, and I'll show you why this one is really the best unit you can buy right now for your BMW E46. It has to do with its upgraded RAM. Instead of the 2 gigs, it's got 4. It's got a larger actual CPU in there, so it's just a little faster, and I've seen reviews on some of the E09s and some of the other ones that do get a little laggy. Good reviews on this one, and the specs alone should help. So we'll go over that in a sec. I got the Boss mono amp, so this is just gonna be there to power the sub with the box. Super cheap as well, 5,000 reviews on Amazon. And again, I bought all these without really knowing what I was doing. Thinking about it now, I'm like, I double checked, wait, is this compatible with a 4-ohm amp? And it is. There's so much to learn about. So I would say the learning curve for audio equipment and stuff, man, it's a lot. So do some research before buying products. I just was thinking, you know, sub goes in there, it should be pretty straightforward, plug it into the amp and you're good to go, and there's more to it than that, but I think we're gonna be okay. I got this Scar Audio 10-inch 400 watt 4-ohm sub, and then this really nice enclosure actually. And even the fact that it's vented or not mattered. I didn't know. I thought this was just like extra bass, and it all means something else. So, but the sub itself, the material and the build quality of it feels really solid. So I'm really happy with that. And I'll put the links down below in the description box for all these items I got. But all in, I'm looking probably under 400 bucks for the whole setup. So super awesome. I'm super happy with that. And then little things here, we got the mic, and then some extra tools here. These are the clips for the trim in the BMW. They're notorious for breaking. Heat shrink tubing, because that's the route I'm gonna go with attaching these cables. I'll just twist them together and then heat shrink over it. Should be pretty good. And then some speaker wire for the subs themselves, because everything else, again, was pre-wired except for I need to do this whole setup myself. So let's go do that now. All right, so the first thing I wanna do actually within this box is I was reading the reviews, and they said on these terminals here that this area here within the box, I heard these actually aren't that good for air can actually get through here. And when you have a sub, you want it to be as, you know, tightly packed as possible so no air can escape. So what I'm actually gonna do is get out a hot glue gun, remove this, put some glue over the rim, put it back in and drill it back into place. That way help maybe seal up some more. And then from there we'll go into adding the sub to the front, drill it in through this wood here. And then from there we're off to the car, get it set up as far as in the trunk how I want it. My handy dandy hot glue gun, getting ready. And we're dead. All right. Come right out just like that. So we're gonna add glue to this edges here, slide this back in, and be good. All right, as you can see, got the glue in there. I put a ton. I really could care less how much I put. I just wanted it pretty sealed, but it's pretty damn good. So I'm gonna put everything back in, screw it back in. Let's move on to the sub. All right, so now we're gonna wire the sub to these endpoints here. One thing to look out for is your screw. You wanna make sure your screws penetrate all the way through the wood, and this one just barely makes it. Probably should have got longer screws, but I think I'm gonna make it work. But first thing I'm gonna do is set up the sub wiring and go from there. So, little issue here. I forgot to buy some female quick disconnects to attach to here, to then attach to these the male connectors here. So we're gonna run real quick, get some of those, come back, and that after I do that, we're gonna drill the top in. Puppy's charging right there. I'm gonna need that. Yo, what's up, guys? It's like 11 at night. I'm editing this video right now, and holy shit, it's so cringy. I literally, this is like, I'll be honest, I shot this video maybe like 2 months ago already, so much has changed regarding like my setup, the sub I have in there now versus what I installed initially. Like, I just did not know shit when I was recording this video. Like, it's crazy because I did a lot of research thinking, like, you know, that's just how I am. But, like, yeah, like, this is my editing setup. This is what I've been doing right now. Shout out to the homies that like cereal at night, right? Yes, I'm using iMovie. Don't hate on me. I'm broke as hell. I dumped my whole paycheck into GME because I just love the stock. So, hold the fucking line, guys, right? No, but for real, like, geez, yeah. I would say anybody that likes to do a lot of learning and everything, and reading, I should say, before they get into something like me, it's insane what you'll learn when you're actually hands-on with whatever you're doing. Like, it's insane. Like, again, it's only been about a month and a half maybe since I put this setup in, and like, watching some of this shit, like, is ridiculous. What I, like, and a month and a half goes by later, I've already installed the camera in my girl's car, another doubled it in hers, like new car bought her. I've gone through 3 different setups in my car already. So it's just getting hands-on. I just had to jump in here because I'll get you guys an updated video on my new setup and like the screen and everything. But yeah, just stay tuned for that. It'll come next week. I'm gonna start uploading a lot more frequently. But geez. Anyways, guys. We're in the beam machine, baby. Let's go. That's that giant hole we're gonna fix. Nice by here. Look like an Aventador. And Aventador 50th anniversary, or SV. On some Vossen center locks. Damn, that was badass. But it was an old guy driving it. Probably ain't hitting it. He's probably never gone over 100 in it. I hope he has, but he probably hasn't. Look at this, what the hell? Just blew by me. A vet with no wing. You never see that. Personally, I think the no wing setup, way better. We got our Atlas Crossport SE being a dick. I think that no wing though, that shit looks hot. It's nice. What's going on? What's going on? Ooh. Catch up to that vet real quick. spec'd out like that, 70 or something. Bad. Boom. This should do it. Some of these in here gotta fit. Let's go. Alrighty guys, so after a few attempts, I was able to get them on, use like the heat string side, and kind of, these should work. I'm hoping this is gonna be all right. So, alrighty boys and girls, subs installed. Had to do it by hand, that fucking drill died already. Garbage, gotta get me a new one. All right, let's move this over. Just loosen that up, we'll get that out of the way. Start getting the setup how we want it. I think I'm gonna put the Boss amp off to the right, maybe the sub to the left, although the cables are kind of on the left side. It may make it a little easier. We'll see, I'll show you guys now. Woo, okay, so I have, I think the layout I wanna go with. It's gonna look something like this. That's gonna be actually strapped up to the back of the rear seat there. And then I think I'm gonna have the sub like that. I hope it doesn't cause any issues. I could flip the sub the other way, but it's gonna have more space traveling this way. And I think I want the amp there because the cables are kind of already orientated to the left side. So yeah, I think I'm gonna, thank God this was pre-wired. I would definitely not be able to do this on my own without it, if it wasn't pre-wired, so. I'm gonna measure out the wiring now to get the cable from the amp to the speakers, probably route around the back and then loop it around. And then from there, plug everything in, start working on the head unit, baby. All right guys, so here's the display itself. Again, a 9-inch Android head unit with a little bit of different software built in, as well as, again, a higher RAM and stuff, so it should run a little smoother. And then we'll go over some of the items it came with. So this is an extra dongle that you'll have. This wiring harness, I think, is for the E39. You can tell by the square setup instead of the more round connection points. So this, if you have an E46, you're not gonna need. You can put that aside. This here is an antenna adapter for the radio, if I'm not mistaken, so you won't need that either. This here is gonna be if you wanna add extra, it's set on the diagram like rear monitor, rear TV. This is if you wanted to add another, TV system to the back of your car, which obviously in the E46, you're probably not gonna have space for that. This I will be using, I bought this on Amazon. This is like a $10 mic, which we will route, and on the back of the head unit, there is, actually in this bag, there's an adapter for an auxiliary input for the mic, so we'll show you that in a sec. This here is the GPS antenna, which I will install as well. From there, I can run a Wi-Fi hotspot from my iPhone, which I'm gonna have in the car at all times anyways when I'm driving. So then I can actually run Wi-Fi from the hotspot to the Android head unit, and that will allow me to use actually data technically. I can drive around and actually use GPS and stuff if I needed, and browse and surf any apps they may have built in, so that's nice. And then now to the main part. These are all the attachments that this car comes with, or this head unit comes with, to then accessorize and add your own setup here. So let's see, I'll pull all these out. I have all these labeled so I can reference against the diagram. That's a good tip, I'd say. Like on here, I have these 4 and 5, and on the diagram, it'll tell you where these all go on the back of the actual head unit itself. And then, so these here, 3 USB ports. I'm not gonna need 3, I'll just need this yellow one, which is a 2.0. It's the fastest out of the 3, and that one connects from number 4. So if I just plug in 4 into the rear of this, run this somewhere to where I can access it, from my car, I can then plug it in and be able to use that. So I'm gonna have that installed. This here is the main one you're gonna use for your sub and amp. So you got your amp connections here, the direct in, and then you have RCAs out, which are these 2 rear outs. This sub one, I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about. I really am gonna be using mostly just these cables here. The rest I'm not gonna need. So this here is for the rear view camera. Mic right here actually for the microphone itself. Ground, the rear camera input, and again, all that, fingers crossed, should be on the back of the, actually in that giant hole that I have in my BMW. So, should have that there. Every day I've been driving in the car, I'd be like, at every stoplight, I'm like trying to understand what cables are what and trying to like use the diagram to reference. So I'd go to a stoplight, any chance I get, I just pull the dongle out and I'm just like, what the hell is all this shit? Golly. And this is the main one that's going to connect to the back of the double din, and CAN bus is for all your steering wheel controls and it communicating actually with the BMW itself. This part goes in the back of the double din. These two, I want to say, are actually going to connect to the BMW's dongle that it has from within the car itself, the wiring harness for that. And this here is a Wi-Fi adapter, which has a 3M on the back. You can literally just slap it onto like any component within there or just leave it kind of tucked away. It's going to be enough to pick up the signal that you're going to need from your phone and any other area maybe around. It's pretty strong. I saw some reviews on this as well. So yeah, hope that was a good breakdown of everything. Let's move on to the sub. Check it out. Sub is wired. Amp is Velcroed. I'm already not liking how low the amp is. I'll probably end up raising it. Actually, it has to be that low. I forgot, because those power cables, again, they're pre-wired. And that's about as much slack as I have in them before they get too tight. So that's gonna be there, unfortunately. But I still think it looks really good. Check that out. Hell yeah. So then I also, when I'm tuning the amp, I'm gonna be able to fold these seats down and access everything right from there. I ran this cable here, which powers it's the bass boosting effect. You can adjust it with the knob. I'm gonna wire it up through here, up through this coil here into the armrest, so I could sneakily open that shit up and be like, "So what's up, boys?" and hit them with some more power. But finally done with the rear. Let's work on that double din, finally get that going. That should be pretty straightforward. So, all right, guys. Inside the car, got the box with me. I'm actually on the passenger side. It does give me a lot more room to work with. First we're gonna do is pop off these panels here. All right, all the clips look intact, which is nice. Next, we're gonna take off these Phillips head screws. This whole tray should come out. And from there, we can cut the edges and get into these wires. All right, so that came off just with these Phillips head here, Phillips head here. But you can see there's a trim all around it, and it connects from under the AC vents. So I think I gotta do those, all four. Then I can slide this whole frame off. All right, I did a little test fit because it almost looked like that side had been cut and this didn't. But sure enough, we're gonna need to cut, I think it's about to where this line is here. Cut all the way up. It's like a soft plastic, you could feel it. I'm gonna get an X-Acto knife and slice it and see if I can get a nice cut. Open that up so I can slide the din in. Just make sure that fits flush, then I'll get on to, I think I wanna wire and work out how I'm gonna wire all the accessories like the mic, the antenna, then I'll go from there. All right, you guys can see how soft this stuff actually is. If I get in there, I can get in there with a knife and it goes straight in. So it should be pretty easy. I'm just gonna go all the way up here. I don't give a shit. Just saw this thing off. There it goes. It does feel like there's something hard behind it. Oh, there is an actual plastic component there. This piece here. So there is actual plastic, but I think if I saw hard enough, I should be able to get it out. Side note, I'm actually gonna use these and try to just bite this thing right off. If I can get it on there and get it like this and bite chunks of it off. Might work. So look at it now. Yeah, that one trim piece, you squeeze it with these, way better than trying to saw it. Just one shot is all it took. Broke the whole trim right off, that whole piece. But now check it out. Pretty darn flush. You get a little gap here, and I think that really is about as far as it goes, because this gap you see here in between this screw, once the trim slides in, the trim is going to be in between this, or at least an attaching point of the trim is going to be in between this and a screw, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, because up here you can see it's already flush, so there's no way that this can get any closer to that. So I think it looks hella good. So now onto wiring the GPS. I'm gonna run it behind here, behind this trim, up through, maybe up and out through this air vent hole there, and I'm just gonna 3M it right here. It's gonna be a nice spot. And just a side note here, all these screws that you see, all the ones that have been taken out, are all the same length. So no need to worry about which one goes where. You can reuse all of them for all the same components. So this here should just wiggle and shit. shake out. There it is. That's simple. And then we're gonna, from behind the dash, you can get in through here, out through here. I'm gonna tuck it under, put the thing back on, put it there. Okay, so that was a little finicky, but GPS is routed. Basically what you're gonna do is take this AC vent off. You're then gonna open your glove box and drop your fuse box panel. And you're gonna run a wire through here, through the fuse box panel, and it's gonna come out through. Basically what you wanna do is grab the GPS end, the heavier end, and funnel it up. You could kind of see this cable up over like that ramp there. And you can kind of see where that cable drops over that, downward, and over this lip here, over that lip right there on the edge, that thing I'm aiming at, that is actually the glove box backing. So that drops down, that cable right there, drops down into this fuse box area where then you can pull it, grab it out, pull it over it, then you're gonna wrap it around here and place it there. That should be a good spot. So I finally got that done. That took a little bit. All right, check out the mic. As I'm talking, it's going right over through here, getting picked up by that guy right there. So it's tucked away. I kind of really like that. Basically what I did is, you can see here, it's tucked under and wired under that loop to give it some slack if I want to adjust it. So if I want to, you know, bend it up or down, it's going to have a little bit of that slack behind there. Basically under here, and then you'll see a little ridge. I'm gonna tuck it under this guy here. Like that, back up and over through this hole. And that way when I put the trim over, that cable is gonna be, you know, kept in place, held down. You'll just see the mic kind of poking out right there. It's really barely noticeable. So that's really nice. And it's a great mic for $9.99. It's got 1,000+ reviews on Amazon. Again, I'll link everything down below. And supposedly it picks up a lot of your voice, so. All right guys, I finally undid that giant harness, and I think I can go through and decipher what everything is. This is the amp connection that'll turn on the amp as the power comes on. This here, this black wire is labeled antenna. So it says ant there. I think that's the antenna cable, which means I should be able to just plug this into the antenna hole, or I could unthread this part and plug this directly into the antenna outlet in the back of the DIN, which I'll do. These come from the amp, which you guys saw me plug and install. This is for, so at the end of these, I got camera, video out, power and a ground, I think, for the camera itself. This is the dongle for the USB. So he already has one pre-wired in here, but it doesn't work because I need to plug this into the purple USB I was referring to, USB 2.0 earlier in the video. And then this is the wire I had for my mic setup, and then this is the wire for the GPS. The last thing I'm gonna add is the Wi-Fi, but that's down there. So it actually seems pretty straightforward. The last thing I'm gonna do is just plug this in. Harness, that is for the E46s, and you can tell by the circular pin adapters there. And I'm gonna plug in the main plug first to the back of, we doubled in. You feel a little click there. CAN bus stays on the side. I already removed the CAN. It originally came on the E39 harness, which you saw earlier in the video. I removed it and put it into the E46 harness. This here is going to go into the BMW, as well as this. I'm going to start adding all my accessory cables now, including, after all that, I think I got every single cable hooked up. The only two that I have issues with, back and key 1. I'm not sure if I even need these. Those are the only three, these three right here are the only three things that I've yet to connect to anything else. So I think everything else we're good. I got the Wi-Fi hooked up, the antenna, everything else. So I'm gonna start pushing everything back in here. Dense harness. So there it is. Back in, I haven't screwed anything down yet. All right, key in hand. Got lights. No screen yet. Oh. We got a review camera action, but I'm not in reverse yet. Can I hit the home button? Did something wrong. All I'm getting is this. If I hit the back button, I'll get the review camera, which will pop up, which is working, which is good. but I don't have anything else. So I'm gonna catch up with you guys in a little bit. I'm gonna do a little bit of research, come back, see what's going on. All right, guys, we are actually good. So a few things aren't working yet. I'm gonna have to work on it. Volume up and volume down. Any of the controls on the steering wheel aren't working. The cruise control, everything's working, but the actual volume controls related to this aren't. Amp and sub are working. So what it was is dongle number 2, which has to do with the rear view camera and some other inputs. Right when I plugged that in, it would cut the screen. The moment I unplug it and just plug it in with just the main harness, this works. So the moment I plug in number 2, it kicks it out. So Bluetooth should be working. Let's see, Wi-Fi. I'm gonna click the Wi-Fi button here and see if I can pull up the Wi-Fi and see if the Wi-Fi dongle is working. Just give me a question mark, so it looks like it might not be working either. So a few things I still have to troubleshoot, but as of right now, it's very nice and it's very fast. Seems very smooth. So there we are, guys. Finally done. You can see I'm sweaty and oily and greasy, but E46 finally has a double din in. Radio works, sound system works, the amp works, and that's the most important things for me. Right now, the rear view camera I gotta get sorted. That's an issue, maybe something I wired it wrong, but that's something we can do down the line. But other than that, I'm so happy with the display. It's responsive, it's fantastic. So I'll give you guys maybe a week update on kind of my first impressions on it, but let me just show you guys a quick walk around. Gorgeous. Check this out. So clean. So clean. And I'll leave you guys at the end of this video with some kind of slow pans comparisons before and after. So, but just check it out. I just love it. The Boss logo kind of lights up and stuff. Super happy with it, guys. Well, anyways, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned and subscribe. Like, comment, ask any questions. I'll try to help answer as much as I can. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for next week for more. Got some more stuff coming. And yeah, thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Peace. Hey, you. Freeze.
Triple kill! Fatality.